We are in Romans chapter 3. Verses 1 and 2 is talking about the advantages of being a Jew, which we don't read about until chapter 9. So, and I circled entrusted because that's talking about a duty that the Jews have to the very words of God. But what I want to talk about is actually verses 3 through 6. And that takes us into a couple of different cross-references that I'd like to go to if we can fit it in. What if some did not have faith? It's talking about Israel's unbelief. Will their lack of faith nullify God's faithfulness? So God is faithful to his promises, and he would punish Israel for its unbelief. We see that in verse 5, which we're going to go to in a second. But we can also read in 2 Timothy 2:13, even if we are faithless, God will be faithful. If you disown him, he will disown you, and so forth. You can go reference that real quick. But God's punishment of Israel for unbelief actually exhibits his faithfulness to his character. It shows his righteousness. And that just takes me into Romans 12:19, where it says God will repay. Leave things to God and he will deal with the opposition, because that is for him to deal with, not you, not me, not we, And so God's faithfulness in punishing Israel for its unbelief is actually bringing about and out God's righteousness. Let's continue on. So verse 4, not at all. Let God be true and every man a liar. That's what this verse is talking about. This verse gets taken out of context a lot. As it is written, so that you may be proved right when you speak and prevail when you judge. Verse 5, but if our unrighteousness, is talking about the unbelief of Israel, brings out God's righteousness more clearly, that's the end result. That's what happened. What shall we say? That God is unjust in bringing his wrath on us? Certainly not. If that were so, then how could God judge the world? So if we pop over to Romans 11, verse 16, that can give a little bit more background on even when we may experience faithlessness, God will still always be faithful. So verse 4 actually goes down and ties into verse 19. Now we know that whatever the law says, it says to those who are under the law, so that every mouth may be silenced and the whole world accountable to God. Therefore, no one will be declared righteous in his sight by observing the law. Rather, through the law, we become conscious of sin. But now a righteousness from God apart from law has been made known, to which the law and the prophets testify.